Hello and welcome. So today I am super pumped to bring you a little interview. It's not a little interview, it's almost a 50-minute interview that I did with a dear friend of mine and a mentor named Rohan Merry. So Rohan has been an incredible influence on my personal life, on my business life. I consider him almost like a second dad. And the reason that I wanted to record an interview with him and ask him some specific questions is questions that I ask him just to obviously get an answer. I have a really good understanding of what he wants and everything else. But some of the questions that I ask in this interview is really pinned around building relationships with your customers and really building relationships with the people that you work with. Rowan's found a really smart way to build great relationships, not only directly with his customers, with his team members, and he's been able to build an incredible business. So effectively, you'll learn more about his business as the interview goes on, but effectively has a painting business with approximately 16 staff in Geelong doing painting, but he's positioned himself to get houses ready for sale. So if something needs to be done around the garden, maintenance, on the exterior, and it doesn't necessarily relate to painting, Rohan just finds a way to look after his customers, build those relationships with trades and all those other things. And there's so much that I've learned and that you will learn through this interview. And you also get to see Rohan share some experiences that I've been through as well, that have really helped me to grow and everything else. So this is a really good interview. I love talking to Rohan. I'm sure you'll enjoy it as well. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. But without further ado, let's roll the intro. Today we have the Bear, aka Rohan Merry, who has kindly given some of his time to join me today. So first of all, thank you, Rohan, for jumping on. So Rohan and I have been working together quite some time, and both he's offering he's been a coach and a mentor to me, and I've also helped him with some of his video and some of the other things that he's got going on in the background. So it's been a really, really good relationship that Rohan and I have built over a course of a period of time. I don't know if I've said it to you directly, but I consider Rohan as almost like my second dad. Very wise, got lots and lots of good tips and little things where if I'm unsure about something, I'm in a sticky situation with a customer or I'm really looking to understand more of where I stand on something. Rowan's one of the people I can call upon and sort of just reflect back on something that I want to do, because I've always got, in business in general, I've always got my customers' best interest at heart. But I also need to obviously look after myself, my business, and everything else in the background by delivering those results. Rohan has been a very key part of why I have been successful. And I love his way of looking at business in general, serving and giving and helping people in general. And so to begin this interview, if you will, I'd love for you to just share, Rohan, what it is that you do, as in regarding Beyond Expectations and everything else, and how long you've been in the game for.
Okay, so I've got a painting company called Beyond Expectations Painting Masters. The reason I called it Beyond Expectations is because if you do more than just what you're getting paid for, you create almost like a friendship with your client, and then that can go to the next job or whatever. So Beyond Expectations is it's like saying it all in the name. If you just do what you're getting paid to do, you're not going beyond expectations. But we have the opportunity to help a lot of people with a lot more than just painting, and we have fun doing that. And I suppose one of the things about customer service is you've got to get your whole team on board. So I have teams of painters and blokes running jobs and managers and
just to give some context, Rohan, how big is your team? And so whereabouts are you based and how big's your team at the moment?
We're in Geelong and we got, 16 odd people working for us, mate.
Yeah. So it's a fairly decent sized company, turning over a fair decent chunk of jobs, transforming homes. So you obviously do painting, but what would you say is your speciality when it comes to the work that you do? Yes, that's the
our
one.
Niche.
Yeah.
So I started out as a painting company 30 something years ago. This is my third painting company. And what we specialize in is getting houses ready for sale, or when someone buys a house, getting it how they want it. So as it turns out, there's a little bit more than painting that's required. Often they need carpet or floors or gardens or tiling, and it's hard for people when they don't know a lot of tradesmen and things like that. So we've built teams of tradesmen, and the real estate agents will call us and we can go in and price up jobs quickly for them and give them quick service because they need the work done straight away. Because as you know, when you're selling your house, you want it done now. So, that's kind of our niche, is to work with real estate agents to get houses ready for sale.
Yeah. And so the thing what I'm going to do, obviously, Rohan, because I know a lot about you, your company and everything else, I'm just going to stop and just expand on different things. So the first thing that I just want to point out with what Rohan's obviously mentioned is he's a painting company that does gardens, that does carpets, that fixes up, bits and pieces around the home. And because of the way that Rohan sees things, it's about what the customer wants and what the customer needs. Is that right, Rohan?
Yeah, I think the painting part of it is the opportunity to get your foot in the door, but then you get to have a conversation and find out what do they really want and why do they want it. Often the reason why, they want something will tell you the whole picture. So, I like to sit down with people and really find out what they want and what's the best way we can help them, within their budget, I suppose.
Yeah. And something that you like, all right, so just expanding on that in itself as well is having the conversation. So painting is the foot in the door for a conversation that can be had about other aspects and other things that you can help with. And there's something that you always told me, especially as I've been growing my business, is people want help and people want help and want to give you their money for that help and are willing to pay for a result, aren't they? And if you're willing to have that conversation and you're willing to expand outside of yourself and expand outside of just the initial thing that you do, there's lots and lots of other opportunities behind the scenes.
Yeah, the way I look at business itself is if you're a service business, you're providing a solution to a problem. And the people's problem is they have their asset, their house, it looks pretty terrible, and they want it to shine when they sell it so they can make extra money, right? It's about making the vendor more money when they sell their house. That's the thing, right? So, and the bonus with that is it also makes the house sell a lot quicker when it looks great and all that. And fortunately, we're in a good selling market at the moment, so there's a lot of opportunity.
Yeah. Brilliant. Awesome. So obviously that's a little bit about who you are, what you do and everything else. I'd love to know what are some of the things that you probably are doing at the moment that your competitors aren't, or what some of the things that you uniquely do during the process of going in, painting and all those other things. What are some of the things that you probably look for that you don't think other people are?
I always say the small things are the big things. The small things are the things you get remembered for. Things like changing over doorknobs, changing smoke alarms. You've made the house look beautiful for sale, but the lawn's not mowed. Just mow the lawn, right? taking away the rubbish. Make sure there's no rubbish left on site. Just go do that little bit extra that people don't expect. And like I always say, we've got to treat this house as though it's my house. If you're working on this house, what would you do if it was your house? Would you mow the lawns? Would you weed the garden? Would you do you got to just imagine that it's like going on sale tomorrow. This is our last day here. We've got to make this thing shine. So let's go check the house for any imperfections. It's like just the little things, like the little door tread, put an oil on the little door tread. That's the first thing. People walk up to the house and instead of, paint, little blotches of paint on the door tread, it's all sanded and oiled and it's nice. It's little things,
Exactly.
People expect the big things, but it's like, what can you find in your industry where that's the little things? And there's hundreds of them. Like there really is,
So and this is great. So first of all, a lot of people who potentially offer, let's just say, in regards to your instance, right? So you've obviously quoted to paint a house, potentially do a couple of things in between, and you've added as many things in the quote or the price or whatever the case is. And like you sort of just mentioned, at the end of the day, if you're painting the exterior of the house and you've done the gardens and you've quoted and that's all been quoted, things that you're doing outside of that is mowing the lawns, even though it hasn't been quoted. Now, there are some people who may be listening thinking to themselves, well, mowing the lawns wasn't included in the quote, or it wasn't included in, the time that we considered and all those other things. What would you say to someone who's more so is obviously focusing on, because obviously you need to be a profitable business and you need to make a good use of your time. So why do you think, even though you may not have quoted for something like the lawns or considered the time that's required, because that's time that could potentially be taken away from another job where you could be making the most of the time, making the most of the profits and everything else. Why do you do things like that you haven't quoted for that? I'd love to hear your take on this.
Okay, so if you're going to be talking to me about the money side of the business, we have a pretty specific way we quote jobs, right? There's no guesswork in it. We work out exactly how long each trade is going to take, what it's going to cost us for labor and materials, and then we have a margin that we add on, right? All businesses need to, you need to add your margin and all that. We have enough room in our margin that we can do a few little things to make sure that the jobs are perfect. Right.
And well, let me ask you this then.
It's not really a money. It's not a money conversation in my head. It's just like the moment that they accept the job, the transaction, that's a one-time. You quote, you sell, they accept it. You got the deal. The deal's done. Then you got to do the best goddamn work you can do to give them the most unbelievably looking house, regardless.
Why is it so important though? Why is it so important to give them the absolute fucking best even after it's been quoted? And obviously like you sort of said, from a money point of view or from a transaction point of view, if you will, there's obviously you've covered yourself in that aspect. But why are you so passionate about bringing the absolute best and doing the extra things for your clients? What does it do?
It makes me proud of my company. It makes me proud of the work we do. It makes me proud of the difference we make. I freaking love it when I hear the sale price people get for their houses. They spend the money with us to make it look unreal, and then they get all this extra money because it does. That excites me. It's fun. Like, honestly, that's why I do it. It's fun, and it makes me proud of what we do. Like, we are helping people make their best asset shine. That's what we do. And I always just shake my head when people put their house on the market. They don't paint it. It looks like a tip. They still got their own furniture in it. All their photos still on the wall. you know, there are ways you can make so much more money by, you know, just doing a few things. And I love doing that for people and help and educating them. But, you know, going all the way, not just, okay, well, you know, you're going to, if you want us to take the rubbish away, it's going to be another $200 for tip fees or whatever, you know, all the conversation that actually goes on in people's heads.
Yeah.
Right. Once the transaction's done at the start, that conversation's over. The money, this is what we're getting for this job. And our job is to do the very best we can do. Right. And if I see something, or if we see something that needs doing, do it. Don't worry about, oh, is it going to cost this? Just do it.
Why do you just do it? I'd love to know why. Why do you just do it?
That's the reason you're in business, is like they give you their trust when they hire you, right? So their trust means giving your very best. And if you see something, do it. It's like, life's not just about money. Money's part of business. And yes, you need to make your profit, and you need to be able to pay everyone and all that. And we do that nicely, right? But I don't want to be walking away from a job I'm not proud of, ever. Right?
What's the flow-on effect once you not only deliver, but do those extra bits and pieces? What's the flow-on effect of that?
The best thing is you make friends. That's the best thing. It's like you got all these people you work for and they become your friend. They say, let's have a coffee. Let's, you know, and you have a chat and you catch up. Like, I got some amazing friends that started out as clients, and, you know, and they go through life dealing with everything that people have to deal with in life. And what, you know, you started out as their painter, then you become their confidant, their friend. You can, I talk to my people about, you know, my clients and that, about most things, you know, life issues, and I love it.
So there's and you can really see that, obviously. It's just obviously have a love for the fucking game. Love for the work that you do, the people, the relationships that you build. And I guess what I was really trying to draw out is I guess once you obviously build friendships and everything else, friends talk to other friends about, you know, what the incredible service that they've gotten. And that reputation then carries on and then brings on more work, doesn't it?
That's not why I do it.
I know that's not why.
I'm telling you now. That's what everyone else thinks. If you do this, then you'll get more work, you'll get referrals, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
The genuine thing is just bloody make the house superb, help them out the best you can, and life will take care of itself.
Exactly. Yep.
I honestly believe that. You don't do it because you want to get something for yourself. If it's like, people can see straight through that crap. Honestly, they can.
Awesome. No, I love it. And there's nothing more genuine than what you're talking about as well, is just doing it. And I love the relationship side that you really like to build through the work that you do. Because would it be fair to say, Rohan, that the work that you do with people is just a cover for building real relationships and effectively just helping people? Is that fair to say?
Well, I'm 55. I've seen everything that people have to go through in life, and life can be difficult at times. You can never have too many good people on your side. And, you know, life can be tough. And when it is, it's good to surround yourself with a good support network. And one of them may just be your local painter, mate. Hey?
I love it.
So, love it. You know, yeah, it's all about, life is about your relationships you make and the friends you got, and you know, the contribution you make. It's not about how much money you got. It's not about, and honestly, life's easier and better with some money, trust me. But it's not about that. It's not what you get remembered for. It's like, I think everyone in their own little way wants to leave a legacy and make a difference, and we're only here a very short period of time, and I'm one of those people that when someone else is hurting, I feel it. And yeah, this is how I do business and friends, and I'm proud of that.
Boom. So for anyone who's listening and hearing, the love and passion that you have for the work that you do, for the passion that you have for, building relationships and everything else in between. Ultimately what this comes back to is building really good relationships with people, being a problem solver in between, delivering, being able to solve people's problems through the work that they need, whether, it's things that they're aware of or unaware of, and things that you can provide through a product or a service and everything else. What would you like to sort of cap this conversation off with, someone who maybe, struggling with the customers that they have, or maybe thinking, in business and dealing with people either that they don't like or not? What's something that you'd like to say and share?
If anything in the conversation is about you, like you don't like them, you don't like this job's too hard, blah blah blah, you're in trouble. You got to be fully over there with your customer, and listening for what they want, and have good questions. I think people need to prepare better with questions when they meet people for the first time. Like you really need to get clear, not just on what someone wants, but the reason behind it and why they're doing it. And then create a plan for them. Like often I'll meet people and they'll want to sell their house because they need to put their mother into a nursing home or something like that, and they can't afford it, right? Well, let's create a plan on how we're going to get your mum into the nursing home, right? Let's do that first. Let's begin with the end in mind. Find that out. Or, I know, look, another one of the things I like to do is I have a whole team of painters working for me, right? So it's not just about the customers, also about the people working for you. What do they want? And a lot of these young blokes, they want to be able to save money for a house, right? And I know I said to one bloke this year, it's like, well, I'm willing to pay you more per hour if you're willing to save a certain amount of money each week to go that you can't touch, that goes towards the deposit of your house, right? And he's come to me like halfway through the year. He's going, I can't believe how much money I've saved. I was just blowing money on things that I didn't even need. Thank you so much. It's just a real little thing. But when people know where they want to go, you can help them get there. And it doesn't matter if it's your customer, your workers, your family. I do this with my kids, What do you want, Tyson? I want a house, Dad. Okay, well, let's create a plan. How are you going to get it? Right? And then how much money are you to make? And how much can we put aside each week? You actually got to get down to why people are doing things. And then they get excited about their life. They got hope. People that don't have any hope are in a dangerous place when they've got nothing to look forward to. So, when you talk to people, find out what they're hopeful for. And are you the right person to help them get it? And if you're not, find the bloody right person that will help them.
Yep.
So things like that.
Just on that point, because not everyone's going to want your help or need your help, are they? And
No.
it's important to distinguish that, isn't it?
Yes.
So obviously, as much as you can give and as much as you can help and everything else, you've always got to be able to ask the right questions to be able to distinguish, if this is the right person. I'd love to just hear your take on that topic as well.
Are you intuitive, Alan?
Yes.
So your intuition will tell you who your people are and who your people aren't. And humans don't connect with everyone. That we have what I call our people.
Yeah.
Right. And our people, it's just easy. straight away you can talk to someone you may never met them before, and it's easy, you know, and you're interested, and they're interested in you. The relationship's not just about you; they're interested in you as well, you know. So relationships are a two-way street. You know, communication, which is a whole nother subject, is there's a lot of work to do to be good at communicating with people, and I think I've trained pretty hard to be a safe place for people so that they can just speak about what their concerns are. And then once you know where their concerns, and it opens up a whole new conversation about what they want and how you can help get them there. And you know straight away the ones who want some help and the ones that don't. And that's fine.
Yeah. Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to answer some questions and share some of your insights on business and just, I guess, building relationships. It's really about it. And just solving problems is effectively just part of the business side, isn't it?
I think this is a bit of a crass way of saying it, but if you've got a great solution to a problem, your job is to get the money out of their wallet and into your bank, right? And then give them every single thing you can give them to solve their problem. That's what a business is. And people are happy to pay you. They want to give you their money when you do great work and you look after them and you make sure that, in our case, their house sells for plenty, you know, and that they can look at, you know, I know we've done a great job. This is the best indicator for us. When someone comes to me and they go, Rohan, we want to sell our house. And so we do a quote and we work out the best possible way we can make this house look for sale. And then we do it. And they look at me in the eye at the end of the job and they shake my hand. They go, thank you so much. There's no way we're selling this house. We didn't know it could look this good and we're going to stay here.
That's awesome.
Like, honestly, the amount of times that happens where people, you know, they have all the intention of selling and then because we actually transform the way they look, right? And people fall in love with the new look and then they don't want to sell it. That's cool. I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything you wanted to sort of cap off or finish and say on anything that we've talked about or anything else in general?
I think one of my favorite subjects is selling and sales. And a lot of people have kind of issues about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's because they're in the conversation and it's about them. When you're selling or when you have a service or a product and you want other people to buy it, it's about them and how it's going to help them. It's not about you. It's not about how you feel, you know, and I think it's our duty to get our products and services into the hands of other people and be proud of selling your services. Like, it just drives me crazy. Like, people have got all these issues about selling, but you should be so proud to sell. Like, it's one of the most fun things you can do because you know you're going to help someone. And that's kind of how I want to finish, because I just see so many people get in their own way when it comes to selling, getting upset when people reject them and all that. But rejections are great. That's why you learn to deal with no's, right? I love no's, right? And just because you get a no doesn't mean it's a permanent no. I've had conversations with people that they're a no, and then I just have another conversation with them, and then they get to see another aspect of whatever the sale is, and they turn into a yes, you know? So, and I think
because there's a lot of there's a lot obviously you can learn from when someone says no to you, isn't there?
Yeah, and I think that's one place where you've come a long way, Alan, since we kind of first started working together. You weren't great at receiving the no.
No, I wasn't.
Right?
Got very upset sometimes, didn't I?
Yeah, you got very upset sometimes, and it's like, that's because you've got you in the conversation.
Very
You're not
true.
fully over there.
I'm not giving the client everything that they want.
Yeah, about them, and they're entitled to say anything to you.
Yeah.
If it doesn't feel right to them, that's fine. Doesn't matter. There's so many people that can be your client. Why would you get attached to one? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there's all these things to learn, and that's what I love about business. It just makes you think so much, and then you got to go out there and go and deliver, I suppose, at the end of the day. So
deliver, create.
Yeah. And I love entrepreneurs. I love their spirit and their courage and their willingness to create a product or a service themselves and put their own whatever you want to call it on the line. They put their own balls on the line, I would say,
Yeah.
And they really, I don't know, they're willing to back themselves. It's not the safe route. The safe route, people think the safe route is go and work for someone else and all that. And sometimes it is safe, but sometimes it's not because you can get fired. So anyway, thanks for the conversation, mate. It's been fun. And I've got something. Every time I have one of these conversations, I always get something for myself out of it as well. So
awesome.
Great.
I'm glad because I know I always get a lot of value out of everything that you say and even the things that you shared today. They're things that we've already talked about, but it's more so reiteration. I think Tony Robbins talks about repetition is the mother of skill, and the more that you can understand that when someone says no, I think, and as you're sort of alluding to be vulnerable, I used to get really upset because I thought it was all about me and I thought it was all about they're saying no to me, but they're just saying no to the opportunity that I'm putting in front of them. And it's not personal. And I was getting very personal about that whole thing. And Rohan has been there to help me through my own business journey, through my own experiences and everything else, to be able to understand that it's actually got nothing to do with me. It's just, it's very much a part of really just giving something to someone that they're looking for based on me listening to them and based on me understanding what they need. And then the only part where I'm involved is the experience that they have getting the result that they want. Is that a fair way to say it, Rohan?
I would say that you used to collapse the opportunity with the self. And when you heard no, it really upset you. And it was actually a great thing to be part of, because to watch your journey through that and your learnings, you've been in the entrepreneurial space for 2 or 3 years now, and you've come a long way, mate. You've learned a lot, and now it's about putting offers out there that people want and then delivering on those offers, and that really has nothing to do with you personally.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it takes a big weight off your shoulders, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for the conversation. Thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and thanks everyone for watching.
Ciao for now.